I think the first and most important part is education. If you can't tell the right message, then you're not going to be investing in sustainability. You're just investing in a waste. So educating all of your staff, if they can start doing little things, even if that's just having recycling within the office, that is something that is contributing to your sustainable footprint as a company. But you're also changing mindsets. Changing the mindset of individuals is so important, not just within the company, but within their lives individually. If you can get them to start thinking about what they're doing in their own lives, then they are becoming more sustainable. And you're having a bigger impact overall. But it's not just about that, it's looking at little things. So doing an audit of your waste, how much stuff is going to waste that could actually go somewhere else. And that's like, those things are small initial costs that can have big long-term impact. If people have more education, then we're going to come up with more ideas. And then together as a collective, you can come up with the best route forward for you as a company.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So would you say from a starting point, you have to start within the company and you have to start educating, and you really have to get people and people within the company to tell that story?
Absolutely. If they know the story, it's easier for them to tell the story. If they believe in it, they can tell it. And it has to be a story, a narrative. Give them something to spin the tale, to make it identifiable, to make it personal, not just to the company, but to the customer. Who are you selling for? What is their benefit? How are you winding this story that creates this amazing picture that they can see themselves in? That's what you want. At the moment, there's definitely an aspect of mutual exclusivity. But given the legislations and regulations coming in with all the EU laws and things, I think there is a point in the future, I'm not sure how far in the future that is, but definitely in the future, where if you have already got on that, I'm going to call it a bandwagon of sustainability, then you're ahead of the game. And therefore, you are more likely to have a bigger profit than those who have to suddenly invest in sustainability at that point. At the moment, it is a massive investment, and everything costs so much just to prove that you are being sustainable, because it's not just about the material investment or even the educational investment. It's also the carbon calculations and doing all your audits and all the little things that you don't really think about that add to the initial costs. So to start with, it very much does not look like there is any like link between the two. But future looking, definitely 100%. We are going to get there. Just can't tell you how many years it's going to take.
Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
So obviously you've mentioned the case of legislation being brought in to force companies to act more sustainably. What do you think that might look like for a furniture manufacturer such as ourselves, who supply in the contract market? So we're supplying high volume to rented accommodation, student accommodation, things like that. What do you think that might look like for us if legislation does force us to act more sustainably?
So I think obviously it's a very difficult area to be in, because a lot of the time you're guaranteeing furniture for a set amount of years, but we now want to see you go, well, don't worry, it's 100 years and you don't have to worry about it. It's this many uses, this many students it can go to. And that's not really something you can guarantee, because you have no idea how each different person is going to utilize that furniture. Are they going to be jumping all over that bed at all hours, or is it going to be in an office barely used other than to lightly sit on, and then that's it? So it's quite a difficult one. I think it is going to restrict materials, making it more expensive and more difficult. But I also think that the sort of things that you can start doing, especially from now, is looking at ensuring that you can disassemble parts to replace them. So obviously legs and handles and things, hinges are some of the most fragile parts of an item of furniture, and they're the things that will often go first.
Yeah.
So it's making sure that if one part goes, you can replace it easily, and making that really simple, but also offering the chance for people to bring their furniture back to you. If you can go, bring it back to us at the end of this period, we'll refurbish it and re-kit you out. Anything that needs replacing comes within this price, and you're getting returning companies coming back to you for repeat business, which means you're guaranteeing yourself future money, which obviously is amazing. But by offering that sort of thing, you're more likely to win more contracts, because the customer's like, oh, fabulous, I get this far ahead and then I can refurbish everything, and it's not going to cost me an arm and a leg to get brand new, and I feel good about myself, which is something that everybody loves. But you've got to sell the story with it. That's the important part.